October is National Women's Small Business Month, a time to recognize and celebrate the achievements of women-owned businesses. And what better place to do so than Saxonburg? Nearly 85% of Saxonburg businesses are either owned, co-owned, or operated by women. It is the women who open the doors to these local businesses daily that make Saxonburg what it is today, often while taking care of their families as well. They deserve our support and appreciation all year long. You go back several generations, and these buildings house businesses that were owned and operated by men, with their wives at their side. And history often focuses on the Roebling men who founded Saxonburg, the brothers John and Carl. But there were several key strong-willed women in a branch of the Roebling family tree who have roots here in Saxonburg. In this building, which was originally John Roebling's house, here lived John and his wife Joanna. She raised 5 children here and was known to make the breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the men who twisted the iron wire into wire rope cables. Their first son, Washington Augustus Roebling, was born here in May of 1837. He followed in his father's footsteps in engineering. In 1865, he married Emily Warren, who rightfully has been praised and honored for her leadership and engineering acumen to help Washington complete the Brooklyn Bridge when Washington became very ill. And Emily was much more. She became a strong advocate for women's equality in business and voting. She never visited Saxonburg, however. But there is another Roebling woman known for championing women's rights and who broke many barriers. That is Mary Genhart Roebling. On the Washington Roebling ancestry branch, Washington and Emily had a son they named John Roebling II. He married and had a son named Siegfried Roebling. It was Siegfried, a grandson of Washington Roebling, who married Mary Genhart. Siegfried was involved in the family business, the John A. Roebling and Sons cable making company in New Jersey, as well as with the family's bank, the Trenton Trust Company. Well, Siegfried died in 1936. The family encouraged his widow, Mary Roebling, to take over the running of the bank, which she did while raising 2 children as well. Thusly, she became the first woman to serve as the head of a major commercial bank. She would hire only women tellers, and she took down the walls that separated the bank president from staff and customers. She placed her desk in the front lobby of the bank. But beyond being a very successful bank president, she was an advocate, too, for women's rights. She believed every woman should have a profession, whether she intended to marry or not. And in 1937, she noted that women were becoming increasingly important in business. She predicted that within the next 10 to 20 years, women will be doing the deciding. Throughout her career, she remained a very strong supporter of working women and equal pay for equal work. She firmly believed in the economic empowerment of women. Another barrier she broke later in life was becoming the first female governor of the American Stock Exchange in 1958. And beyond the business world, there was much more to Mary Roebling's aspirations, and that of women breaking barriers. She had said, quoting, "Women should not hesitate to seek the highest places." There were reports that she aspired to be the Vice President of the United States. And in 1960, she spoke again about a woman as Vice President, noting that she wasn't really running, but that she thought that her Republican Party had several qualified women to be nominated and hold that office. Mary Roebling received many more accolades and served in state and federal government appointed positions. She died in 1994. She, too, never visited Saxonburg, but her grandson, Chris Roebling, did. He visited Saxonburg in July 2017 for the 185th anniversary weekend festivities. There's one other Roebling woman that deserves mention. That is Amelia Roebling. She was John Roebling's niece and Carl's daughter, born here in Saxonburg in 1837. She eventually married Herman Knock. They lived in this house here on West Main Street. In 1932, at the time of the 100th anniversary of the founding of Saxonburg, 95-year-old Amelia Roebling Knock was honored. She was noted as the oldest living member of the community. But in May of 1933, Amelia Roebling Knock died, the last direct descendant of the famous Roebling family living in Saxonburg. She lived her entire life here in Saxonburg. Mrs. Knock was interned in the Saxonburg Memorial Church Cemetery, where her father was buried in 1837. By the way, the cemetery land was donated by her father and uncle, as well as the land for the first school. And interestingly enough, her descendants donated the land for Knock High School, and now the entire district is called Knock School District. So I end this journey through history and talking about women empowerment with a reminder to support today's local women business owners and operators, not only this month, but throughout the year. And thank each and every one of them for all they do in running their businesses, creating jobs, and supporting the community, often while taking care of their families as well.